There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, and a lot of these theories make a lot of people angry when they're even mentioned. And that is because they seem to contradict all levels of logic and reason and seem to be borderline insanity or symptoms of sanity from people that embrace them or try to discuss them, etc. And so there's just a lot of arguing going on in regards to conspiracy theory and theorists, not debating, but arguing, angry, like you're dumbass or you're stupid, and this is leaving us in kind of like this endless, fruitful argument where we're just dividing ourselves and being polarized. And this allegory, the allegory of the cube, I think would be really helpful in perhaps preparing the way for some constructive dialogue between people and people who have alternative reality ideas and a lot of times good reasons for thinking so. So the allegory of the cube is you imagine four men standing in a north, south, east, west relationship to one another with a cube in the middle. The cube is positioned in such a way that each individual can see three sides. Because it's impossible, you can't see more than three sides of a cube at one time. So they're all standing there looking at the cube. Now the cube is painted 3 squares white and 3 squares black. So the first guy sees the cube, and he's asked what color is the cube, and the cube, he sees the 3 black sides, he goes, it's black. It's clearly black. The person opposite of him sees 3 white sides, and when asked what color is the cube, he sees it's clearly white. There's 3 white sides. Now the third person from the side can see both black and white. And like him, the person opposite of him also sees black and white, but they still do not agree, because one sees 2 black sides and 1 white side, while the other sees 2 white sides and 1 black side. So they all have a different account of the nature of the color of the cube, even though they're all being honest, they're all legitimately describing what they see, yet it's 4 different descriptions. So, let's say they wanted to debate the rightness of what they saw. If I see the 3 black cubes and I want to debate and argue with the others about what I see, I mean, how am I going to convince, if the other person is seeing white, how am I going to convince him it's black, and vice versa? How is the person seeing the 3 white sides going to convince the other person that it's black, etc.? If they argue, it'll be a frustrating, winless argument. Nobody will win, because everybody will be right, and rightly so, and it would only logically follow that the others are wrong, because they're not perceiving what the individual sees as right. It's correct. So this is really kind of where we find ourselves at. Now, the debate would go on for eternity with no avail, unless they all just move to the right or to the left one spot and all change positions, musical chairs, whatever. And then if they did this 3 times, and then came back on the 4th time to where they began, they would have seen all 4 perspectives. And then there would be no debate, because everybody would not be wrong. They would now all realize that every one of them was right. That it was white on that side. It was black and white on this side. It was black on this side. That they were all debating as if they were contradicting themselves, when in fact they were all right. They just didn't take the time to see the object from another person's perspective. So the whole point of this is that even though I may believe something that sounds like it's the opposite of what you believe, there's a good chance or possibility that we both might be right, but we won't be able to see it unless we look at each other's perspectives. Now, debate is about the flat earth and JFK and, all these crazy conspiracy theories. There are some smart people that believe some things about these conspiracies. There's some legitimate facts that they bring up and consider and don't just easily disregard because it doesn't fit the whole paradigm of their preconceived notion of reality. It's something that must be logically taken into consideration. Yet, when they try to express it, or when I try to express it to other people, these reasons why I would consider these points, it's just abject resistance, anger, no, I must be retarded, or I don't fucking understand, I don't understand. When in fact, if they just came over and took a look at this cube from my perspective, they might just see what the hell I'm talking about. So, having established all this, I intend to dissect thoroughly, but simply, this mishmash of crazy, contradictory conspiracy theories, and try to show that there are just a few threads of continuity and truth that runs through these alternative, crazy, contradictory, mishmash conspiracy theories that is true. But before I could just start putting out these new ideas, I realized that more than likely I would be met with affirmation from the few that agree with me and abject resistance from the rest. And that's not constructive for me or for anybody. It's me making enemies where I don't need to have them. But I also think it's very important that we think about what we believe. It's not just something we should take for granted and never reconsider once we think we got it right in third grade or whatever when we're kids. It's something that needs to be constantly recalibrated as each one of us grows older, acquires a little bit more information, and in the same spirit where I don't believe in Santa Claus like I did when I was a kid because I got new information, in that same way. We should expect to evolve. We should expect our paradigms, our perspectives, and our understanding to also evolve and also accommodate new ideas and perspectives. So, I'm going to make I don't have a computer, I have to do this all on the phone, so this is just my opening foray, my opening volley. But I needed to establish that first, so that perhaps I might get some of you won't ever even consider this crazy nonsense, just to consider some of the points that are reasons why some smart people actually do consider it.